The internet is buzzing with a scandal that has thrown Yandy Smith straight into the eye of a storm, one that no one saw coming. A private and deeply personal video has surfaced, featuring Yandy in a strikingly intimate moment with her co-star, Chris Johnson. What began as excitement around their upcoming film The Love You Give has quickly spiraled into a viral frenzy, one that merges art, personal lives, and the unpredictability of fame. This was not part of the script. The footage, which was clearly never meant for the public eye, paints a very different picture of Yandy and Chris's relationship, one far beyond the boundaries of co-stars sharing professional chemistry. The video captures moments of laughter, closeness, and what many interpret as a kiss, prompting waves of speculation. As clips made their way across social media platforms, fans were stunned, some even heartbroken. Why? Because Yandy has long been seen as a pillar of loyalty, a woman who built her image around family values and unwavering love for her husband, Mendices. From love and hip-hop to Instagram, she has cultivated a reputation as a devoted wife and mother, one who stood tall during tough times and celebrated openly during the good. But now, that image is under heavy scrutiny. The emotional weight of the leak is intensified by its timing. Just days before the video went viral, Yandy had been posting snapshots of family life, smiling photos with Mendices, moments with the kids, vacation memories that radiated happiness. In hindsight, it all feels like a curtain shielding a very different stage behind it. For some viewers, the footage is easy to dismiss. They believe it was just a scene, cleverly edited or taken out of context. But others are not so quick to let it go. They see something deeper, a level of familiarity between Yandy and Chris that feels too natural, too unscripted. Now, the questions are piling up. Was this an accidental leak or a calculated move? Could this be the beginning of something more serious? Or worse, the unraveling of a marriage fans have rooted for over the years? Speculation is swirling like wildfire. Theories range from innocent misunderstanding to full-blown betrayal. And while the world watches, Yandy is left standing in the center, caught between career triumph and personal chaos. What happens next? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the facade has cracked, and all eyes are on what Yandy, Mendices, and Chris will do now that the spotlight is no longer just on the film, but on the truth behind the scenes. Behind the cameras and carefully edited photos, something has fractured in Yandy Smith's world, and this time, it is not just a tabloid rumor. Her husband, Mendices, has always preferred to live outside the whirlwind of drama that often surrounds reality TV stars. Quiet, private, and rarely one to speak out, he has stood by Yandy through storms before. But this time feels different. Sources close to him say he is deeply shaken, not just by what he saw in that now viral video, but by who he saw in it. The woman he trusted most, the woman he believed he knew inside and out, now feels like a stranger to him. Trust has cracked, and their marriage is teetering. Since the leak, those close to the couple describe tension at home, distant conversations, heated arguments behind closed doors, and a widening emotional rift. Though Yandy has yet to make any public comment, insiders reveal she is feeling the weight of pressure like never before. She has always been in the spotlight, but this is not the kind of attention she ever expected. The video, intended to remain private, has now been seen by millions. And with every share, the damage deepens. Caught in this whirlwind is Chris Johnson, Yandy's co-star in The Love You Give. Many are pointing fingers at him, suggesting he may have had something to do with the leak. So far, no evidence directly links him to the release, but the public's anger is hard to dodge. Chris has tried to clear his name, yet whispers grow louder and accusations keep coming. Friends say the backlash is taking a toll. He is overwhelmed, bombarded with questions, and increasingly withdrawn. Meanwhile, the fallout continues. The once highly anticipated movie The Love You Give is now shrouded in controversy. The very scenes meant to showcase Yandy's talent are under review, with whispers of possible edits or even reshoots. Production insiders are scrambling. unsure if the film can recover from the scandal or if the drama off-screen will overshadow the story on it. What makes the situation worse is the silence. As more people weigh in, speculate, and take sides, Yandy's refusal to address the scandal only fuels the fire. Every moment she stays quiet, frustration grows. Fans are demanding clarity. Her silence, whether intentional or not, feels like avoidance, and that has led to even more speculation. Is she protecting someone? Is she preparing to leave Mendices for Chris? Nobody knows for sure, but the longer she waits, the louder the questions get. What once felt like an unshakable public image, loyal wife, devoted mother, hardworking star, has begun to crumble. Those heartwarming family photos, the heartfelt captions, the declarations of love, fans are starting to wonder if it was all just a well-orchestrated illusion. Even more painful is the emotional toll behind the scenes. Mendices, once the rock in their relationship, is reportedly struggling to cope. Friends describe him as devastated, questioning everything: his marriage, the love they shared, and the years they built together. He supported Yandy through her filming schedules, stood by her career, and weathered her fame. Now he is left trying to piece together a truth he never saw coming. And Yandy? Those close to her say she is avoiding direct conversations with him, choosing silence over confrontation. But that silence is not calming the storm. It is feeding it. Rumors now suggest she may be cutting emotional ties, perhaps preparing for something more permanent. Some fans believe the video was more than a mistake. It may have been a sign of a new beginning Yandy has not yet spoken about. In the end, this scandal has split her supporters. Some stand by her, believing the video was a lapse in judgment and that no one should be crucified for one mistake. They argue that forgiveness is possible, that the love she and Mendices shared was real and worth saving. But others are not so sure. What happens next may redefine everything Yandy has worked for: her family, her career, and her identity in the public eye. As the days pass, one thing remains clear: the truth has a way of surfacing. And when it does, everyone will have to face it, whether they are ready or not. What was once seen as a simple exchange between co-stars caught in the rhythm of a scene has now turned into a firestorm. Some insist it was just an intense acting moment, nothing more. After all, Yandy has long stood as a symbol of family, love, and resilience. But for many, that image has shattered. To them, what happened was not just a mistake, it was a betrayal, one that deserves answers, not silence. Whispers have grown louder. Was there more between Yandy and Chris Johnson than a fleeting kiss? Could they have shared something deeper, something hidden? The longer Yandy stays quiet, the more those whispers start to sound like truth to some. Her silence, once seen as grace, is now being called avoidance. But the fallout did not stop with her. Chris Johnson, her co-star, is now navigating his own storm. People are not just questioning his role in the video, they are questioning his intentions altogether. Was he simply swept up in the moment, or was there a plan behind it all? Was his closeness to Yandy ever about friendship, or something more strategic? Though Chris has retreated from the spotlight, the questions have not followed. Fans and media alike want answers. The weight of the controversy is pressing down on him, and insiders say he is beginning to understand just how much damage that moment has caused, not only to Yandy's image, but possibly to her marriage as well. Behind the scenes, the film's production team is scrambling. They are distancing themselves, editing out clips, and even considering reshoots to salvage what was once poised to be a major release. But damage like this cannot be edited away. The shadow has already been cast. There are still some who cling to hope that Yandy and Mendices can weather the storm and emerge stronger. These supporters believe that love can survive even the harshest trials. But others see the signs of a love unraveling under public pressure and personal heartbreak. One thing is for sure, life will not return to what it was. That video peeled back the curtain, revealing a version of Yandy that many were not prepared to see. Now, people are left wondering, was it all an illusion? Were the family portraits, the public declarations of love, the perfect image, all just that, an image? As the hours tick by with no response from Yandy, the speculation only grows. Is she retreating to regroup? Is she planning to leave the marriage quietly? Or is she simply trying to hold on until the wave of outrage passes? Meanwhile, Mendices is facing his own unraveling. Known for his steady, grounded nature, he is now reportedly leaning on friends to help make sense of what happened. Sources say he is struggling, asking questions no one can answer, and wondering how the woman he stood by through everything could allow something like this to unfold. Those closest to him say they have never seen him like this, distracted, hurt, and deeply unsettled. Some fear that the emotional toll might start affecting his work, his mental health, and his sense of stability. His once clear path forward is now clouded by betrayal and uncertainty. And perhaps the most heartbreaking part of it all? The silence. Yandy and Mendices, once so united, now seem to be islands unto themselves. Communication is said to be nearly non-existent. Time is passing, but healing has not yet begun. As this saga continues to unfold, fans are holding their breath. Will Yandy break her silence? Will Mendices find the strength to forgive or walk away? One thing is certain. This story is no longer just about a leaked video. It is about trust, identity, and the fragile lines between public image and private truth. The drama has become more than gossip. It has become a reckoning. And no one, not Yandy, not Chris, not even the fans, will walk away from it unchanged. Yandy has chosen to retreat into the shadows, opting for a quieter existence away from the spotlight in an effort to shield herself from the growing public scrutiny. Despite her team's best efforts to protect her reputation and manage the fallout, the damage seems irrevocable. As her silence persists, fans are starting to question her true intentions. The more she withdraws from the public eye, the more uncertainty builds, leaving many to wonder what is truly going on behind the scenes. At times, Yandy has subtly referenced the emotional toll the scandal has taken on her, though her vague social media posts about self-reflection and strength during tough times have only sparked more rumors. Fans are left speculating, what does this silence mean? Is Yandy contemplating ending her marriage to Mendices, or is she simply trying to process everything that has happened? Despite her staff's attempts to steer the narrative, the public's perception of Yandy has shifted dramatically. Once admired for her devotion as a wife and mother, she now appears distant, secretive, and detached. Those who once looked up to her are now questioning everything they thought they knew. Chris Johnson, the co-star who became the focal point of the controversy, is facing his own backlash. Despite trying to maintain a low profile, he is caught in a media whirlwind, with fans accusing him of exploiting the situation and damaging Yandy's marriage. The weight of the public's criticism is mounting, and sources say Chris is feeling the pressure, realizing the gravity of the situation he's now entangled in. Behind the scenes, the film production company is working overtime to distance themselves from the fallout. They've discussed altering the film's marketing approach and even reshooting scenes, but no amount of editing can undo the scandal's impact. As the controversy continues to spiral, both Yandy and Chris are left with little to say, their efforts to deny or explain the situation only seeming to add fuel to the fire. Yandy's team is reportedly scrambling to protect her image, attempting to sway media outlets to minimize coverage of the issue. However, the more they try to control the narrative, the worse the situation seems to get. It's becoming clear that no amount of spin will reverse the damage that's been done, and each attempt to rebuild her reputation only seems to make things worse. The personal toll on Yandy's relationships is evident as well. Close friends and supporters are starting to question their loyalty, unsure whether they can continue to stand by her. Some have even begun to distance themselves, citing her actions as a betrayal of the values she once represented. One insider remarked that Yandy has lost her way. Once seen as a role model, she is now just another celebrity caught in a scandal. Her family, particularly her children, are also feeling the strain. Despite Mendices' efforts to shield them from the worst of the fallout, the ongoing media attention is tearing at the fabric of their home. Once a symbol of love and stability, their family life is now marked by tension and uncertainty. Those close to the family worry about the long-term effects of this scandal on their children and how it will shape their future. As for Yandy, she's attempting to redirect attention toward her career, working on new projects and trying to remain in the public eye. Her staff is pushing her to stay visible, hoping that her professional endeavors can help mitigate the damage to her personal life. But with every public appearance, it's clear that the confident, composed woman she once was is slipping away. Her public demeanor is now tinged with anxiety, as if she's wearing a mask to hide the turmoil inside. New revelations about the video continue to surface, suggesting that the flirtation between Yandy and Chris may have been ongoing rather than a one-time lapse in judgment. This deepens the mystery and raises even more questions about the stability of Yandy's marriage to Mendices. Was the video just a symptom of deeper issues, or was it the first sign of cracks that had been hidden for years? Each new twist in this drama captivates the public, keeping the story alive and ever-evolving. Yandy, Mendices, and Chris are all tangled in a web of betrayal, secrets, and heartache, and their futures remain uncertain. What's clear is that none of their lives will ever be the same, and as the scandal unfolds, the world watches with bated breath, waiting to see where this tragic story will go next. As the public eye intensifies, the weight of the ongoing drama begins to tear at the seams of Yandy and Mendices' once solid relationship. Every move Yandy makes now feels like a battle with her past actions, as she is forced to confront the fallout of her decisions, while the pressure continues to build. With more people pointing fingers, it's clear that the damage is deeper than anyone could have anticipated. For Mendices, the situation has left him at a crossroads, questioning whether his marriage can survive the strain of such public turmoil. Behind closed doors, the relationship is crumbling. The communication that once defined their bond has all but disappeared, and the love that seemed unshakable now feels fragile and distant. Sources close to the couple reveal that Mendices feels deeply hurt by Yandy's handling of the situation, and he finds it increasingly difficult to envision a future with her. There's a growing sense of betrayal in the air, and Mendices is beginning to ask himself whether he should fight for a marriage that now feels built on deceit. His focus has shifted to protecting his children from the chaos that has engulfed their lives. The media storm continues to wreak havoc, and though Mendices is doing his best to shield his family, it's becoming nearly impossible to keep them out of the public eye. With each passing day, the weight of the scandal intensifies, and Mendices struggles to preserve what dignity and stability he can. Yandy, once a figure admired by many for her poise, charisma, and her seemingly perfect life, now finds herself entangled in a vicious spiral of public scrutiny and internal conflict. Her best efforts to shift the narrative through new business ventures and public appearances have not yielded the results she hoped for. The once glowing public image she carefully cultivated over the years now feels like a distant memory, as if it has been wiped away by the harsh reality of the scandal that continues to overshadow her every move. Despite her attempts to move on, the fallout from the controversy lingers like a dark cloud that refuses to dissipate. Her public relations team has been working overtime to repair the damage, trying to control the narrative and redirect attention to her professional endeavors. She's been seen at events, engaging in new projects, and attempting to maintain her presence in the public eye. However, it's clear that these efforts are nothing more than a mask, a desperate attempt to cover up the cracks that have begun to appear in her carefully constructed facade. The damage, unfortunately, cannot be undone with mere appearances. Once trusted brands and big-name sponsors who once lined up to associate with Yandy have now begun to distance themselves, quietly severing ties as they seek to avoid any further fallout from the scandal. The endorsement deals that were once a regular part of her life have dried up, leaving Yandy to face the harsh truth that her career is now on the brink of collapse. What once seemed like a flourishing career in both business and entertainment is now at risk of crumbling in the face of public backlash. The situation has left Yandy in a difficult position. Despite her best efforts to stay above the fray and move forward, the public perception of her has been irrevocably altered. She can no longer walk down the street or attend a public event without facing whispers and stares from onlookers. The narrative that she's tried so hard to control and redirect has turned against her, and it feels like every step she takes only exacerbates the situation. As the months have passed since the scandal broke, the divide among her fans has only deepened. Once, Yandy was seen as a role model, a woman who appeared to have it all, someone who had the perfect balance of career, family, and success. She inspired countless people with her strength, her business acumen, and her dedication to her family. But now, those same fans who once looked up to her as a symbol of success and resilience are left questioning everything. Some of them feel betrayed, disillusioned by what they've learned about her. They can no longer reconcile the woman they admired with the one they see in the headlines. For them, Yandy's actions have shattered the image they held of her, leaving them disappointed and heartbroken. They can no longer see her as the beacon of hope and inspiration she once was. On the other hand, there are still fans who stand by her, offering their unwavering support and believing that she deserves a chance to redeem herself. These fans see Yandy not as a villain, but as a human being who made a mistake, one that has had serious consequences. They believe that everyone deserves a second chance, and they want to believe that Yandy can rebuild her life and career from the ashes of this scandal. They continue to cheer her on, hoping that she will prove herself worthy of their loyalty and trust once again. However, no amount of support from her fans, no matter how well-meaning, can erase the damage that has been done to her public image. The very nature of fame means that every aspect of her life is under constant scrutiny. Her actions, her words, and even her silence are analyzed and dissected by the media and the public, often in ways that feel cruel and unforgiving. In the face of such relentless attention, it's become clear that Yandy's image cannot be restored with a few public appearances or strategic business moves. Her career, once filled with promising opportunities, now feels like a house of cards, fragile and ready to collapse with the slightest gust of wind. Even as she attempts to focus on new ventures, the shadow of the scandal looms large. Any new project she undertakes is met with skepticism, and her credibility in the eyes of many has been deeply compromised. The once glamorous endorsements and partnerships that made her a household name now seem like distant memories. As her career falters, so too does her ability to remain in the public eye in a positive light. Perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of the situation is the realization that no matter how hard she works to regain control, the damage to her reputation feels permanent. It's like trying to put together shattered glass. No matter how carefully you handle it, the cracks remain, and the pieces will never fit together in the same way again. The trust she once held with her fans, sponsors, and even her colleagues has been shattered, and restoring that trust may prove to be an insurmountable challenge. There are those who argue that Yandy's actions and her handling of the scandal have shown a lack of genuine remorse. This perception has only fueled the fire, making it even harder for her to regain the public's trust. People are looking for authenticity, for a sign that Yandy truly understands the gravity of the situation and is willing to take full responsibility for her part in it. Unfortunately, the more she tries to manipulate the media and control the narrative, the more it appears that she's simply trying to save face rather than make amends. The future of their family is uncertain, and their lives have been turned upside down. As for Yandy and Chris, the nature of their relationship is coming under intense scrutiny. While Yandy continues to deny any romantic involvement with Chris, rumors are swirling that their connection may have been far deeper than she's let on. Some insiders suggest that their relationship was ongoing long before the video surfaced, and that the footage was just one chapter in a larger story they had kept hidden from the public. As the investigation into the video leak progresses, new revelations keep emerging, keeping fans on edge. In a shocking twist, reports suggest that the leak of the video may not have been an accident after all. Some sources claim that Chris himself could have been behind the release, using the scandal to generate publicity for himself and Yandy. While this remains unverified, the possibility of a calculated move to boost their public profiles adds a new layer of intrigue to the already complex situation. If true, it would shift the narrative entirely, casting doubt on the authenticity of the entire affair. Amidst all the chaos, Yandy is in full crisis mode, scrambling to salvage what's left of her personal and professional life. Her public relations team is working overtime to manage the fallout, but the task is proving to be more challenging than anticipated. The media continues to focus on her every move, and her reputation is sinking further with each passing day. Despite her efforts, the damage seems irreparable, and it's unclear whether she will ever be able to regain the trust of the public or her loved ones. Now, it falls upon Mendices to try and pick up the pieces of his shattered life. The man who once exuded confidence and certainty about his marriage now finds himself questioning everything. While he strives to maintain some semblance of normalcy for the sake of his children, it's undeniable that his relationship with Yandy has been irreparably damaged. The bond that once felt unbreakable is now hanging by a thread, and the possibility of rebuilding the lost trust feels increasingly unlikely. The controversy involving Chris Johnson, Mendices, and Yandy is far from over. The scandal continues to dominate the headlines, leaving fans in suspense, eager to see how the story unfolds. Will Mendices and Yandy manage to salvage their broken marriage, or has the damage done been too great to overcome? And what about Chris Johnson? Will this controversy propel or destroy his career? Only time will reveal the answers, but one thing is certain: the lives of these three individuals will never be the same again. Fans are captivated by the drama and are left in a state of disbelief as they watch the tension between Chris, Mendices, and Yandy play out in real time. As each new piece of information surfaces, the question on everyone's mind remains: how will this all end? The story has yet to reach its conclusion, and with each revelation, there's the promise of more surprises, betrayals, and shocking twists. What do you think will happen next? Can Mendices and Yandy heal their fractured relationship, or is their marriage beyond repair? Will Chris Johnson's career ever recover, or has this scandal marked the end of his rise in the industry? And most intriguingly, do you believe that Chris and Yandy were involved in a secret romance all along, or is this all just a carefully planned publicity stunt? Or could Mendices be unfairly carrying the weight of the scandal? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. If you found this story as compelling as we did, don't forget to hit the like button. For more updates on the scandal and other celebrity dramas, be sure to subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss the next chapter of this ever-evolving saga. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when we reveal the next jaw-dropping twist. The drama is just getting started, and the entire world is watching closely.